Hi everyone. About a month ago I was watching a video on YouTube and it was made by two American visitors to Scotland, and they featured a video on Scottish confectionery and snacks, and it was a very good video, but I thought I could do one as well because I'm a Scottish person, I'm living here in Scotland, I've got insider information. So on this video I'm going to show you a large number of snacks that you can find here in Scotland, great confectionery. But before I do, I want to tell you there is one type of confectionery you can get in Scotland, and I refuse to buy it and show it to you. I just refuse to do it, and I'll explain why at the end of this video. And also, just to avoid any confusion, when I refer to biscuits, I'm referring to the UK biscuit. That's the unleavened, hard, flat, baked item, which our American cousins would call a cookie. I think over in America, biscuits are actually what we call scones. This video is going to be very confusing, not just for you but for me as well. Right, to start, I would like to have taken you to the town of Uddingston, which is about 7 miles southeast of Glasgow. At Uddingston they have a factory, and that factory is a household name. The plan was to start this video in Uddingston, but because of COVID-19 travel restrictions, if I can't go to Uddingston, I bring Uddingston to me. And can I just point out as well, all of these products which I'm about to show you can be bought anywhere in Scotland. They can be bought in supermarkets, convenience stores, newsagents, petrol stations, wherever. The first thing I would like to show you is the Tunnocks Tea Cake. Everyone in Scotland knows about Tunnocks Tea Cakes, and I'm going to open this bad boy up and show you what's inside. Right, this is the Tunnocks Tea Cake. And there you go. I'm not sure why this is called a tea cake, because I don't think it has much to do with tea, and I wonder whether it's actually a cake. Right, I'm going to bite it and I'm going to show you what's inside. I'm going to enjoy this video. Right, see that? You've got your biscuit base, very soft, mellow, and it's enveloped in chocolate. Tunnocks Tea Cakes. It's very hard to stop at one, but you will make yourself very sick. Right, the second thing I want to show you is this, the Tunnocks Snowball. That is a snowball, except for one thing. You only get half of a snowball, so is it really a snowball? Right, I'm going to bite into this and I'm going to show you what's inside. I'm really enjoying this video, it's really good. You have the same sort of mallow which you get in the tea cake because it's made at the same factory. Got a slight coating of chocolate and coconut. Now I just want to tell you a little story about these snowballs. You shouldn't eat these near IT equipment. I used to buy these and bring them into the team at work, and we'd all munch on snowballs. But the coconut falls off and it falls into your keyboard. Every 2 months we'd get these ladies coming around to clean our IT equipment, and they used to complain at the amount of coconut in the keyboards, and I'd get the blame because I was buying these and bringing these into the office. So don't eat these near a keyboard, don't. The third type of confectionery you can get from Tunnocks is the caramel wafer, and you get what it says on the packet. I love caramel wafers. I could eat a whole packet of these and not be sick. Right, let me just show you. Now, you shouldn't talk with your mouth full. Layers of caramel, layers of wafer, covered in chocolate. These are delicious. The next type of confectionery I'd like to show you is butterscotch. Now, I'm not a great fan of butterscotch, but I did a bit of research on these, thinking that Scottish, there's a connection there. These are not Scottish. The Scotch comes from scorched, burnt. So it's scorched butter. It's got nothing to do with Scotland whatsoever. I was on a false lead here. These are not Scottish. If I was to say tablet to you, you would think maybe one of these electronic reading devices. You might think of a sort of pill for medical reasons, but in Scotland a tablet is also this. And tablet is a kind of, it's like fudge really. It's kind of brittle, it's a bit grainy, but it's delicious. and you can get this everywhere across Scotland. Now I'm going to open this up and I'm going to show you what it looks like inside. Right, this is actually an overbrand from a company based in Falkirk called Mrs. Tilly's. Basically, if you like sugar, you will like tablet. See what I mean about it being a bit brittle? So if you ever need a sugar rush, tablet is the way to go. You see that? It's really fine sugar. It is effectively sugar. It's still delicious though. It is like fudge, but there's a slight difference. Fudge is a bit softer. Speaking of which, here's some fudge. Now I thought fudge was as Scottish as tartan, as Scottish as bagpipes, as Scottish as Edinburgh Castle. Fudge isn't Scottish, and yet you can get fudge everywhere. It's almost as if it's the national confectionery. Fudge was actually invented in the United States in the 1800s. There is a slight difference to this. It's a bit softer than the tablet, but still delicious. I'm going to put on so many calories because of this video. There was one type of confectionery I did want to show you, and it was called rock. It's a traditional seaside resort kind of confectionery. You buy it in places like Scarborough and Blackpool, and I'll show you a picture of it. It's actually a sort of a stick. It's hard rock, solid sugar. It tastes of mint, and if you snap it in half, you see the name of the resort inside. It's all very clever. Now here in Scotland we have our own version of rock, and it's called Edinburgh Rock. Edinburgh Rock sounds more like a 1970s progressive band, doesn't it? But Edinburgh Rock you find, funnily enough, around Edinburgh, and it's very different from the British seaside rock because it has more of a consistency of like chalk, and it's in smaller bite-sized pieces as well. And I'm mentioning this because even though you don't find Edinburgh Rock across Scotland, most visitors to Scotland go to Edinburgh because it is a beautiful historic city, and you will find Edinburgh Rock everywhere. So I had to mention that. The next confectionery is called macaroon. Now I thought macaroon was actually Scottish. I did some research on this, and it's actually Italian. Originally it was made from a paste made of mashed potatoes and sugar, but to increase its shelf life it then started being made of sugar, glucose, water and egg white. Now I'll open this up and I'll show you what it looks like inside. Again, this is made by Mrs. Tilly's in Falkirk. Now look at this. It's more like a sort of a icing sugar inside, but it's quite hard. Macaroon. It's like I said, it's like icing sugar or something like that. It's covered in chocolate and coconut. Absolutely delicious. And this is another confectionery you should not eat near a keyboard, because the coconut goes everywhere. So this is Scottish, but its roots are Italian. I do like macaroon. Right, there's coconut everywhere. Right, the next thing, I'm going off on a slight tangent. I want to show you this. Shortbread. So terribly Scottish. Let me show you what it looks like. Shortbread is made of sugar, butter and flour. And as you can see, it's made in fingers. Traditionally, this used to be made in a circular form. It was cut in eighths like a pizza and baked that way. But now, if it's manufactured in a factory, they tend to be like fingers. Scottish shortbread. You can't go wrong with Scottish shortbread. It reminds me of a story a few years ago. We had some representatives from the Hilton Hotel Group come and pay us a visit. There was someone from Dubai, someone from Amsterdam, someone from Madrid, someone from Miami, and someone all the way from London. and they were doing the circuit around the UK, came to Scotland, and they came to our office in Glasgow. And I decided to buy them all tins of Scottish shortbread. I think it had something cheesy on the front, like a picture of Edinburgh Castle. Anyway, they were really impressed, and they took these all home with them. And I'd like to think to this day there are probably tins of Scottish shortbread dotted around the world because of that visit. If you want to be the office hero, give people Scottish shortbread. Right, here's another biscuit. Oatcakes, another traditional Scottish biscuit. Right, let's get these opened. Oatcakes. They're not really cakes, they're biscuits. This is all very confusing, isn't it? Oatcakes were actually around in Scotland when the Romans arrived in 64 AD. These have been around for a long time. The main ingredient of oatcakes, as you can imagine, is oatmeal. These are a little thicker than some of the ones you do get. If you stay at a hotel or a bed and breakfast, they tend to be a lot thinner. People put jam, maybe butter on them. I like to eat these straight because I like to taste the oaty flavour in them. Nice. Okay. The next thing is a real disappointment to me. The next thing I'd like to show you is Millionaire's shortbread. It's actually caramel shortbread or caramel shortcake, but here in Scotland, tongue-in-cheek, we call it Millionaire's shortbread. Right, let's get this opened. Voila! Look at that beauty. Go anywhere in Scotland and you will get Millionaire shortbread. I did a bit of research and you can imagine my disappointment when I discovered this isn't Scottish. It actually dates back to the 1970s and it is an Australian recipe. So the country that gave us Kylie Minogue and Crocodile Dundee also gave us caramel shortbread. At least the name Millionaire shortbread is Scottish, but the recipe itself is Australian. Still can't complain. It's got a biscuit base, caramel and thick chocolate on top. Seriously nice. Okay guys, to wrap this video up, there was one type of confectionery I refused to buy. Now this is a Mars bar. What I refused to buy, even for you guys, was a deep fried Mars bar. Don't do it. Please don't do it. Apparently the Mars bar, or the deep fried Mars bar, was invented by a fish and chip shop at Stonehaven near Aberdeen. What possessed him to dunk one of these into batter and then deep fry it is beyond me. I don't understand it. Apparently it's thought that around 70% of deep fried Mars bars sold in Scotland are sold to visitors and tourists who have read online and seen YouTube videos about these things. Let's try one. Don't try them. They are very unhealthy and it's sacrilegious. I mean, why would you want to do that to a Mars bar? That's like deep frying a Snickers or a Bounty or a Hershey chocolate bar. You don't do it. So please don't buy deep fried Mars bars. It only encourages them. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's been a bit all over the place. We have had COVID-19 restrictions, but that's going to change shortly. I've got some really good videos planned for you. In the meantime, thanks very much for your support. I'm going to try and clear some of this confectionery away. I don't know how. And I'll see you next time. Right, now where's that Millionaire shortbread?